Neither of your countries are members of the so-called P5+1, but you are both intimate observers of the challenge that we face from Iran and the efforts to confront it. So let's look at sanctions. Are they having an impact? But where are we overall in the effort to stop Iran from achieving a nuclear weapon? The view from Canada, the view from Italy. Mr. Baird.
Well, firstly, it's a great pleasure to be with you and a lot of friends of the United States and Israel and Canada, so it's great to be here. There is no doubt that the sanctions are beginning to have a real impact on the Iranian economy. Unfortunately, there is little doubt that the sanctions have not fundamentally changed the Iranian leadership. They have not fundamentally changed course. And we can only hope that every single diplomatic effort necessary will lead to a change in that. But the one thing we must be clear and unequivocal: we will not back down on sanctions and political pressure just for Iran showing up to the negotiating table.
Mr. Frattini, where do you think we are, from your perspective, in the effort to prevent Iran from achieving a nuclear weapon?
Well, first of all, thank you very much for inviting me. I feel among friends here. I have to say, well, we know for a very long time the tactics of Iran. They like to negotiate just for the sake of negotiating, not for the sake, not because they want to get results. They really don't want at all to fall on the substance of the issue. This is a very well-known situation. But I want to say, as an Italian, as an European, why it's so important, this comprehensive policy of prevention Iran from getting a nuclear bomb. Because, frankly speaking, you, friends, Americans, Israelis, Canadians, talk about security. But as Italian, as European, we are not talking about only security of Israel. We are talking about my security. We are talking about Italian, European security. Everyone's security. This is why we all are on the same boat. This is why it's extremely important what John said. The strategy of sanctions should go ahead, even though they are not changing regime, but we have to move towards a stronger and more precise implementation of sanctions. The weak point is the implementation. Let's talk about only one point. There are a number of states in the world. I'm not talking about Europe, not talking about America, United States or Canada. Let's talk about Asian countries. They are not implementing properly all the sanctions as they should do. This is the problem of implementation. Let's take on board other partners, others that are persuaded that if Iran gets a nuclear bomb, it's not only Israel, it's not only America, it's all of us will have a serious problem of security on our life.
And
Mr. Baird?
And we mustn't forget, as terrible as the nuclear program in Iran is, their support of international terrorism is just as bad, and their deteriorating human rights record causes all civilized and freedom-loving people everywhere great, great concern. The regime in Tehran does constitute the greatest threat, I agree with Franco, the greatest threat to international peace and security. This is not an issue exclusively about Israel. It's not an issue about the Gulf or the Middle East. It's about the international system of peace and security in the world today, and we must be tremendously concerned. We also should be very focused. Diplomacy matters. It's important. Talk is one way of accomplishing things, but actions are important as well. And Israel and the United States for many, many years have taken tough actions. And just in the last 6 months, Canada has listed the Revolutionary Guard as a terrorist organization. We have listed Iran as a terrorist organization, and we have closed down our embassy and kicked the Iranian diplomats out of Ottawa to stand on principle. I was
premier
Yeah.
surrogate to advance the cause of terrorism.
Yeah.
What do you think will be Europe's answer to the news of the Bulgarian terrorist attack?
I remember very well in 2003, exactly during the Italian EU presidency, I had as foreign minister the responsibility to propose, and I succeeded, to include Hamas in the blacklist of terrorist organizations. Now we have a situation showing once again how it's important to keep Europe united, because Hezbollah is already in the blacklist. For Canada, for example, Europe is hugely divided. This is a sad reality in Europe. I think, according to the evidence, according to the request of our Bulgarian friend, I think the time has come to have a serious discussion and to come up with a united European decision to seriously evaluate the terrorist nature of the attack, and the attack that created and caused killings of innocent people. I think Europe cannot be shy. Europe cannot take time, as it has been doing in the recent past. You know, twice or three times the foreign ministers of Europe met without taking a united decision on the terrorist character of the attack and the organization. There are those that say we cannot make a distinction. We cannot make a distinction between the military and the political faction of Hezbollah. But it's a matter of fact. They promote, like in that case of Bulgaria, terrorist attack. This is the nature. Europe, I think, sooner or later, the sooner the better, we will have and should have the courage to put on the table in the European agenda this and to take a decision. Only through that way Europe will prove capable to contribute to this international strategy against terrorist organizations, including Hezbollah.
Mr. Baird, if we talked about Iran and then Hezbollah, I'd like to talk for a moment about the country that is the third link in the chain from Beirut to Tehran, and that's Syria.